Let me just kind of start off the video talking about what influenced me to make this video in the first place. Was, if you follow me on any of my social media platforms, then you probably saw that I had my makeup done by one of my really talented cousins, and you know, I shared it because I personally thought I looked good. You know, I rocked the shit out of it, in my opinion. I know there's people that don't agree, and so, you know, I got a lot of good comments about it, and I also got some not so good comments about it. One being in particular from a really close family member that I am not going to say who, just due to respect of privacy. So when I showed this family member my picture, the words that came out of that person's mouth was, "I don't like it, why do I want to see this?" And at first I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I just kind of shrugged it off and was like, oh, but I realized the next 2 days after that it really did bug me, and it really did hit me personally, even though I shouldn't have let it hit me personally. And that's kind of like when I realized that no matter how close you may be to someone, expect kind of like tough criticism and not let it get to you, because you aren't going to be happy with yourself until you fully accept who you are, instead of finding acceptance in others. And that's kind of like what that book told me about, the 4 agreements. And that's why I realized what was the problem was because I was looking for acceptance still in that remark from that picture. And I realized after reading that book, fear is the second like greatest thing. I think love's the first. And so, you know, with fear, you let fear control your life. In a sense, you shouldn't be basing your life on fear, and that's what I have been doing for the past 20 years now. I'm not gonna lie, like, it's, yeah, even though I sort of thought and convinced myself that I wasn't living ashamed of myself, I kind of still am, because even though I've gotten more comfortable with more friends and some family, I'm not the same person just all around. I still put on a different mask when I'm around like certain family, like my grandparents, because they're pastors, and so I kind of don't act like how I would around like my best friends, because just in sort of like respect. But I finally understand from reading that book what was going wrong with my life, and it's because I am still living in fear of being accepted, and I just like need to stop. I just really want to stop living in that fear. So I mean, I'm just gonna say it, you know, like, I claim bisexuality as my sexuality, and there are some people that don't believe in it, and that's a whole nother argument that I've been through with some people. But I think about a year ago or so, more towards like the end of 2014 and 2015, I kind of just saw the concept of coming out ridiculous, because I don't think that people should have to identify their sexuality. You just, people are people, you like them based on their personality or not, you know. But I do realize right now and day that we're still kind of adjusting to the whole equality thing. I mean, we just barely got same-sex marriage legalized in the US. So yeah, I just think it's better to kind of just come out and, you know, not be shy about it anymore. I mean, for the most part, I do like girls and guys, and a lot of people say that it's a choice, that you can choose to be what you want, and you can't. Like, it's not a choice, because my elementary school self, me, would have chosen to be straight, because I remember knowing that I was different than most kids, that I found interest in what feminine like things were back in like early 2000s. You know, I really liked Powerpuff Girls and Hannah Montana's music, and I remember just getting like judged and bullied for being interested in something that I liked. And you know, it really made me feel like I wasn't going to be like accepted by people. And so I kind of, more towards like middle school and like high school, even like my freshman year stuff, like kind of just like changing up like how I acted and stuff, and like what I wore. I remember this one time in elementary school when I because I used to always hang out with girls because I just that's just who I preferred. Like, my group of friends were majority of girls. I mean, I still had some guy friends, but throughout school, like during like recess and stuff, I'd hang out with girls. And I remember this one time we were playing tag, and this girl came up to me and she said, "Why do you always play with us? Like, why don't you go play with the guys?" And that like made me mad again too, because it was like, why does it matter if my friends are girls, you know? Like, the fact that I grew up not wanting to accept who I was is so wrong and fucked up, because that's what society had put in my mindset to believe what was right and what was wrong. And I truly do believe that is so fucked up. If you are a person who is aware of that happening, you have to speak up and, you know, say something to that child who is living in fear, because sometimes people don't always bring themselves to overcome their fear like I am. You know, I'm 20 and, you know, I've been more comfortable with who I am as a person more or less starting, I think, like late 2013, but I still haven't fully accepted myself, because, you know, I'm not like the same person around everyone when I should be, because there's no reason why I should act different around anybody. Like, I should just be myself, and if you accept it, I mean, that's cool. Like, I love people that love me based on my personality, but then there's some people that judge, and it's just, I don't necessarily need you in my life. I remember when I started watching Lil Anthony on like Vine, and then I found he had a YouTube channel, and then I saw that, you know, he had all these like people watching him and subscribing to him, and, you know, he was being himself, and I was just astonished, because I remember in middle school when, you know, everyone was going around talking about if I was gay or not, and I remember how so self-conscious I got about that, and it was just like, why are people like talking about that? Like, why does it matter? I got so nervous about it because I remember, I don't know why either, but for some reason growing up, when guys found out that their friends were gay, they totally just like changed like who they were around them. I didn't have a lot of friends that did that. I had some, and it kind of just made me like confused, because, you know, nothing like just changed after saying, oh, I liked guys. I've been the same person since I've been out of like my mom's womb. I think this whole conversation about acceptance and equality is so important, because a lot of people that don't hear about it aren't truly aware of how serious they are until they hear it from someone that they know, especially if it's someone that you're close to or a family member like me. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want everyone to know that I do not want any of the future generations growing up in fear like I did. I don't want them to think that they're not accepted for being who they are. This is how like my viewpoint is on this topic, and I don't have the time to individually tell everyone, you know, that I'm bi and I like girls and guys. Like, I don't really have a preference. It's just whoever I like find attractive, I guess, you know. And, you know, that's why this video is here. It's so people can hear my message and my viewpoint and how I kind of just gotten through this. And honestly, if it weren't for, you know, like my cousin who did my makeup, like we grew up so close together, and he kind of like helped me introduce like becoming more comfortable with myself, and my friends like Adriana and Ivrali and like Adriana's parents and all of them, like they were people who saw what I was struggling with and kind of like helped me like break down a wall. And so did watching Anthony's videos, like watching him talk about equality and like gay rights and rants like that kind of like helped me realize like, wow, like this kid's younger than me and he's speaking about real issues and he's getting his message out. Like, that's something that I wanted to do. This is why I made YouTube, was be able to kind of just do something like this. I want to change like something. I want to be more involved about this, because this isn't just something that, you know, is shown like on a TV sketch show. Like, this is real life problems. Like, people kill themselves over this, and it's something that like I'm tired of seeing happen. Like, we have to do something about it, and this is what I feel like this is the most I can do right now, is by making this video. And even if you watch this video and you don't agree with me, I can guarantee you, you know at least one person who is going through this, and you just kind of have to be open-minded about what they may be going through. I love all the people who, you know, are straight and they still like help and support same-sex rights and all that. Like, that stuff is so incredible to have people that understand someone else's situation. You guys rock so much and are making such a help with this movement. This is who I am, and I have no problem with it, and I love myself, and I can truly say that I just kind of wanted to finally get this like out there, because I know sometimes people take it offensive when they get asked if they're gay or not, and that's just what society has kind of thrown out there too, was if you get asked if you're gay, bi, lesbian, whatever, it's taken as an insult. But really it's just a form of communication. As like, would you rather someone like assume that you were, or actually ask you the question? Just take that in right now. Would you rather have someone actually ask and go up to you and say, hey, do you like, you know, the same sex that you are? Or would you rather have someone kind of treat you like that just based on assumption? And that's kind of, you know, what society has taught us to do, was to base on assumption, when we need to start speaking more clearly and being comfortable with asking each other these questions. Yeah, I know this video was out of the blue, but if you have anyone that you think can benefit from watching this, please share it, because I really do want people to know that if there's anyone that you think won't love you, just know that I love you, because as long as you stay true to who you are and to yourself, you don't have to worry about being accepted by others. The first step to loving yourself is accepting yourself, and you won't be accepted by others until you accept yourself. And I think that means, you know, you find other people who know exactly what you know and what you feel and what you go through. And that's kind of what I have felt finding my friends and being on YouTube and stuff like that. And my journey's not stopping here. Like, it just has begun, and I can't wait to see kind of where this is going to take me. Anyway, so I hope that you guys found this video useful in any sort of way. I am glad that I finally got to shoot this and to just let it all out, because this is something that really needed to be talked about, whether you may see it as important or not. It's very important to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week with hopefully a funnier video. But I love every single one of you that loves me for who I am. So yeah, thanks.